Just one of those things. We're working really hard in practice, and just a game time decision. Wanted to give him an opportunity, and he did great tonight. Had great rhythm, had great confidence, stepped up and made some shots early, and he's arguably our best defensive player.
Do you feel like the start helped him kind of find a rhythm offensively that he'd been missing?
His best game of the year, we go back to the exhibition game. He came off the bench, so he's just a good player. He's been having really good practices, and he's really good at the top of the zone defensively, and it changes things. He's a great balance to Quade.
Hey, it seemed as if your ability to close out the first half and the second half was the difference in this game.
Yeah, we did a really good job at the end of the first half, getting some separation. For the most part, it was the first game that our defense had really, we talk about 5 threes or less, or, our percentage was really good on the defensive end. Our problem was, you have a decent lead, and, defense started slacking. I think they scored 5 or 6 or 7 straight times in a row, picking apart in the zone. And when that happens against a good team that's really good shooters, and they get you a couple stops where we take bad shots, that's how teams get back in the game. We got to get better at that. But for the most part, I was happy about our defense.
Do you find that it's easier for you guys to switch to the zone with starting with the man-to-man as opposed to the other way around?
We've started man in every game, so it'll be interesting. I just know when we went big, it can change a lot of things, both in the man. I was worried about the man because we were in foul trouble. Both Jaden and Isaiah had 3, and it's in those games, how games are called, it can go either way, and so I just go with my gut based on what I feel, how the game is going. When they start to feel comfortable against the zone, you can kind of feel it. It's good change-up.
I know you're happy with the win, but are you happy with the way they played tonight?
You know what? I thought there was some really good points, but I also thought there was some frustrating points. Getting the lead and a couple bad shots and then breaking down defensively, we allowed that to happen. And then when the game started getting closer, it looked like we lost our poise a little bit. That's what you get with youth. And that's what we talked about in the timeout is we just have to play defense. We have to get a stop, and then we have to just make sure on the other end we get a good shot. Whatever play we call, we're getting the ball in the right spot. And I was happy how we shot our foul shots. 17 for 20 is that's a good number for us.
I know there's still ways to go. But,
Yep.
Is this team, if you had to go into Pac-12 play tomorrow, would you be ready?
Yeah, I think I think as coaches, you're not as optimistic as you'd like to be at this time of the year. But I think that's the one thing I learned over time as an assistant for years. Every coach is complaining about their team at this time, so that's why you play the preseason. And you wish you could be perfect, but we're not. You just got to get better. I thought Jaden was aggressive offensively this first half. Jamal Bay showed a lot of good signs, and so I thought there was some good growth there. But overall, it could have been a lot better.
So this team came in leading the nation in threes, and the guys say that the defense is sort of designed to stop the 3. Can you elaborate on? Yeah, I don't think the 2-3 necessarily is designed to stop the 3, but can you talk about what you guys did in this game? Or
It's just when you coach, what you emphasize is what you get, and when we say defend the 3, it's really activity in the zone and making sure that we're tagging shooters and players and being defending the ball. Those things come into play, but defending the 3-point shot is a really, really important thing in college basketball. It's important for us. It's what we stress every day. And so it hasn't been great so far, but tonight it was pretty good.
When you guys go through those offensive lulls in these games, is there someone in the huddle that kind of takes control and pushes guys to kind of break through?
You know what? I would say, there's a lot of, Isaiah is a great leader. I think Nas says the right things, but for the most part, when we're in that huddle, the guys want to win, and you look at the coaches and what we're going to tell them, and we got to calm them down sometimes. As tough as they are and as good as they are, they're still really, really young, and You could see that a little bit in spurts tonight in the game when they came and made their comeback, and then you saw them be mature and calm down and play defense and build that right back up. We have to be that consistently to be a great team.
You know, the things that Jaden was doing well in the first half, was that in the flow of the offense, or was that just Jaden?
Well, they forced you to be a good one-on-one player, and so when Isaiah sets good ball screens, it forces a tag, which means I go help on that, and if you lift, you're going to either have a shot or you're going to be able to drive, and I thought he was more aggressive, getting around the basket a little bit more than he was in terms of shooting. I thought there was good balance with that, but he, it goes back to sometimes with space, you've got to let, I always say, sometimes you got to let your artist paint. Sometimes good coaching is getting out of the way.
Did he tell you what happened on that last shot? It didn't seem as if he was trying to
I was shaking hands. I didn't see it at all.
look like he was doing it.
I don't think he would do anything to demean the other team or that,
Because of the Seahawks tonight, it was pretty thin in the crowd. Did that have an effect on the atmosphere, the energy, any of that?
I don't think, we talk about creating positive energy, creating our own energy, and that's what great teams do. It doesn't matter if you're on the road or not. You've got to be able to create your own within your team. We're still growing in that area. But, when you make unselfish plays and passes and rebounds and blocks, I think that creates that positive flow. I felt like today when there was a couple bad shots and they started scoring 4 or 5, you could see the body language go like this. And that's where we got to be able to be as, growing. You'll see those guys not even looking over at the bench where they're just picking their chin up and they're, leading each other. And I think that's what we got to get to.
Isaiah's motor was really shown in the stats tonight with 15 rebounds. Does his work ethic flow off to everybody else?
You would hope so, yes. He plays so hard and he's so unselfish. And, when he's flying around like that, he's a tough cover. He shoots it. He's strong down on the post, and he's very unselfish. Now he needs to, quit playing behind the post player so he gets in foul trouble. He needs to work on that, and he'll become better.
Coach, it's a tough game. Coach Pete stepped down today.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to talk to him and just your reaction?
I haven't, but I will tell you this, and I'll leave it at this, is when I got here, I was a fish out of water. I was like, who the hell's Hopkins and this guy? And he welcomed me and made me feel a big part of this, the athletic department, and mentored me, talked to me, was always there. And, I was fortunate to work for a legend for a lot of years at Syracuse, and I don't think people in the area understand. Like Coach Pete is one of the greatest coaches of any sport in the history of college athletics, and so I'm kind of sad in the sense of I want to pick his brain. The last couple of years have been hard to spend that time, but when you have a guy of that wears that type of cloth, you want to pick his brain. You want to do everything that you can to learn from him and grow. And I've never seen a guy who runs the program the way he runs a program, and the type of person that he is, first class all the way. And it goes back to whatever makes him happy.